Alright, so as you can tell, I diligently clean all the time. So, tired of whipping out the big camera, so I'm just going to do something like this. But I'm going to work on putting in the shift kit. As you can tell, we're in a different little location here. All sorts of shit. There's the pretty guy right there. Look at that. Whew. So, since we've got most of it assembled for the base, we just have these two servo covers over here and here. So, we just need to take off the upper left corner on that one, the upper left corner on that guy. Should be pretty easy. Alright, so got that one out. And that one out right there. See that? Look at that. No nut. They're sitting right there. Okay. So now I gotta take these two guys off for the other two mounting bolts to sit into. Alright. Them's two's out of here. Right there. Okay. So next we're gonna try and fit her up. So I get why they say don't loosen these. Leave them nice and tight. Fuck. I see why they say don't tighten these. It helps situate it right, and you can adjust it, and then you can really crank it down once the ends are in place. So we're gonna go and see if we can get this thing fit. All right, so we got that situated. That guy's in, and they provided two back here. So remember, keep this loose. The 3 dots is the top, 2 dots is the rear. Check that out. Fancy. Alright. So she's in there tight. So you want to do these two on the servos first. And they don't provide the hardware for that. You just got to use the bolts that come with it. And I don't know if it's this way on all of them, but this guy doesn't have a little top hat. This side doesn't. But this side, they've got a little shoulder washer there. It's right on it, so you want to make sure you put those in right. But you see, these are still not tightened in, but it's already pretty fucking sturdy, dude. Let's go. So the back ones, they're the included hardware. They're 7/32. I got a set of these in metric and SAE. They come with a nice little stand. You get them from Harbor Freight, pretty cheap. And I was using something like this. I was testing between metric and SAE, but I threw the SAE one back and grabbed one of these instead, because then you can come in here and rotate it this way. You got pretty decent clearance with this little nub, but it's still enough to actually grab onto it. Then when it's time to actually set it down, then you can use the longer end as leverage. But don't over tighten the back bolts for your tail shaft housing. As you can see, there's a little piece of painter's tape on that housing. Had to buy another one because we over tightened and blew up the casting. It actually like shattered in this corner. So just be cognizant of that. Once it's tight, it's tight. All it's supposed to do is push that gasket and squish it down. That's literally the purpose. All right, so this is the trans cover in my truck. So what I went and did, measured from the center in here all the way over to here. Turned to be about 13 inches. Transfer that over here, and by golly, look at that. We're gonna be using these guys here. So we're gonna be reusing these bolts. So since they're already there, we can just chuck it right in. Another fun feature of these handles is that you can use them to pry a little bit. Line your holes up so you can get your bolt in. Look at that. Heck yeah. Alright, we got the main body in. Everything's tightened down nice and neat. I did have to loosen the tail housing bolts. And I basically took all of these off. For whatever reason, this bracket on this side was giving me some problems. So I had to go in, you know, just chuck the bolt in and get them situated down and seated, and then I would pull one off, throw the lock nut on, tighten it down, pull the other one off, lock nut on, tighten it down. I just did that the whole way, And then I got to the back ones here. This guy wasn't lining up right, so I stuck my tool in there and moved it around, and everything worked out nice and pretty. Alright, so I had to take it out and work on it on the bench a little bit, get everything put into place, but Lokar actually sent me another one of these plates here where it actually engages with the shifter. So now that's all in, everything's square, everything's tightened up, fits nice, shifts pretty. Kind of concerned about this arm because it see it contacts there, so I might have to bend it out a little bit, but outside of that, works beautifully. Alright, we're one step closer. So I pulled the neutral safety switch off. That thing's crusty, ugly, bad. This shifter has that neutral safety switch right there. So we don't need this one anymore. I don't think I'm going to try and take this arm off. I believe this is actually attached to the shaft, so I would have to take the pan, take the filter screen, all that stuff off and pull it off. But if I can work it with that thing still sitting in here, see, I got plenty of room. I'm not really worried about it, so let's see what we can do. Alright. Battery ran out on the flashlight. She's alive. Alright, so the arm's on there. Pretty. 1 o'clock position. Kind of just referenced where this bolt here was. Just got it close. And she's on there tight. And now if I reach my pretty little hand down there. See? Like a charm. Beauty. Alright, so I'm on this step here now. So I got to measure that distance and subtract 1 3/4 inches. So I got 5.5 inches, and doing the back of the cardboard math here gives us 3.75 for this ding dang thing. Which isn't too crazy of a length because they're measuring from the back here. Mine is right up in these two here. So we're shrunk. Okay, move this up from these two bolt holes to this bolt hole. It's about this far. Okay, that's not too far. Alright, so I got my length measured and marked using a towel. Make sure I don't crunch up my pretty little threads. So just found a rag, pulled it out of that bottom hole there, the radiator. Now we're gonna cut. Alright, so this is what our end looks like. So I cut this with this little metal blade behind you. Alright, so I got a lip there, so I'm going to hit that up and clean it up a little bit and see if we can't get this thing put in. Alright, so the original length we said was 5.5. So center on center, it's about 5.5. So then after you get that, you want to snug those bolts up, those jam nuts up. A little snug, not too snug, because you might still have to adjust it to get that fit just right. And you got to double check and make sure that your bolts are actually sticking out straight, because they'll move easy with these little bearings in there. And yeah, she'll be ready to go. Alright, look at that. So we got it in park, drive, 1, 2, back into 2, there's drive, reverse, neutral, and park. So there we go, we're all the way down into 1, 2, drive, neutral, reverse, and park. Beauty.